Hello, I'm David Chaston, standing in for Bernard Hickey today with 90 at 9, brought to you in association with the Bank of New Zealand. This is where you get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, starting now with news that there's been another big private equity failure, with Red Group Retail calling in administrators for their Whitcoulls, Borders and Angus and Robertson book chain that has a major presence on both sides of the Tasman. Debt and leverage is a tough master, even with historically low interest rates. It joins a long line of failures of the private equity model, which have left plenty of collateral damage. Overseas, US Treasury bonds rose, sending the 10-year yield to an almost 2-week low, as growing political protests in the Middle East stoked demand for less risky assets. Gold gained for a fourth day, oil climbed and US stocks advanced. In Britain, a Bank of England official has called for the raising of interest rates to raise the pound and tame inflation. In the US, inflation was fairly modest in January, but it's not considered benign anymore. The Fed is facing a big conundrum with whether or not to start the tightening process at a time when housing and unemployment are still at depressed levels. Although more than 4% of US housing is in foreclosure, delinquencies in the rest of their mortgage book have fallen to their lowest level in nearly 2 years. Back here, Mark Hotchin said sorry for mistakes he had made in a high-profile interview on Close Up last night, but he also said investor losses weren't his fault. And Vector's Michael Stiassny has come out swinging against the tactics used by Bernard Wimp, who is trying to enforce signed share transfers at below market prices. Ignore him, says Stiassny. I'm David Chaston, and that was 90 at 9, brought to you in association with the Bank of New Zealand.